You're only as strong as your weakest link. And if you're not aware of what your weakest link is, then you have no way of fixing it. There's this company called Eternal. They were founded by a former professional cyclist who is used to very high levels of assessments, all types of different assessments, physical assessments, internal body chemistry assessments, mobility assessments, recovery assessments, physiological assessments, mental assessments, all of the assessments, because in his training, every little detail matters so much. If you were training for the Tour de France, if you can muster out just a little bit better VO2 max or a little bit better lactate threshold, that could be the difference between podium and nothing, right? So he founded this company, Eternal, which is opened an office in New York. They were lovely enough to gift myself and our staff at the Fort NYC complimentary memberships to this absolutely incredible assessment protocol. And in this video, I'm gonna break down what that was like, what we did, the value that I got from it, and give you a little insight of, how it might be useful to you. My friend Chris, who is actually a friend of my friend Brett, he mentioned that he started this new job at Eternal, and he's basically acting as a general manager of sorts, as far as I can tell. And he was awesome. He invited myself and Brett into their facilities, showed us around, gave me a complimentary membership to Eternal, which is so gracious, and I appreciate it so much. After the tour of the facilities, he showed me around. I mean, everything in there was top notch. This place is staffed with really intelligent people that really know what they're doing. They have outfitted the place with the best equipment in the business. And, on day one, they took me in and basically gave me the full workup of everything that's going on with me. So we started with the tour. He showed me around. Everything looks great. We then went into the DEXA scan. So the DEXA it's a body fat scan system, but it also measures your bone density, and it measures the different places and types of fat that you store in your body. So you've heard of like visceral fat, which is like fat that sits on on your organs inside your body, and subcutaneous fat, which is the fat that like sits in your skin. Kind of, that's the fat you can pinch and grab and see. We started with the DEXA scan and didn't get the results right away. So I'll wait till the end to kind of give you the results of each of these tests. But basically it's like an X-ray machine. You sit in it, it does the scans every part of you can't move. And they took those measurements. And then we got into the training floor, where we started with some really basic balance tests, some mobility tests. Can you stand on one foot and touch your nose type of a thing? Can you raise your arm over your head? What kind of range do you have? Can you reach out this way? Can you reach out this way? Can you touch your toes? Some very, important stuff to know. So they go over some mobility. They go over some of my jumping ability, a vertical jump, broad jump, how far I could jump forward. And then we got into some really cool stuff. They were able to actually measure the force that I can create pushing my legs in, adduction, adduction, versus the power that I can push my legs out, my abduction. So there's a good balance that you want to see between the two. And if one side is way too strong than the other, you may be like prone to injury. So like this is all like really good stuff to know. And also, like, I'm not aware of what any of my scores are. What they take all this stuff and they package it into an incredible document for you to review with your trainer, with your physician, and then go over a game plan. Then we got into like my favorite part of the test, which was we did a maximal strength test where they basically put you in a quarter squat with a belt over your shoulders, and then you push up into the belt. You kind of stand up into it as if you're kind of at the very top of finishing a back squat, and you create as much force as absolutely possible. I felt like my head was gonna pop off. But wow, that was very cool to like get a sense of, at my kind of strongest position, how much force can I create? So went through that. We did a max pull-up test. They did it very specifically. It had to be on a certain tempo. So you basically had to like follow a tempo of rep, back to a full hang, rep, back to a full hang. And maybe we did a few other endurance tests, if I'm familiar. Maybe it was just a pull-up test. And then the best part, we did a full VO2 max test on a treadmill. Now, this is a VO2 max measures how well you are at using oxygen for fuel, or basically like how much speed or force, how much output can you manage, primarily relying on your aerobic energy system, which is the energy system in your body that basically translates oxygen, you're breathing oxygen through your lungs into energy. And basically, once you increase your speed or get to a certain level of output, you're going to switch over out of aerobic as being your primary energy system and into like your more carbohydrate heavy energy systems, like your ATP energy systems. I did a lot better than I thought. I did still, I'm not going to tell you what the score is until the end. I did a lot better than I thought, and I really, like, pushed it to the absolute limit, so much so that as soon as I finished the test, as soon as I hit the last marker, I ran to the bathroom, ripping my face mask off as I was going to the bathroom, threw up in the toilet. I have not thrown up from a workout in probably, like, 5 or 6 years. Um, Used to do it all the time. When I was in college, I threw up all the time. That was like part of my workout. I have learned that that is not a good idea and that is not to be recommended for anyone. Don't throw up in your workouts. If you're throwing up in your workouts every time, something is not correct. You're not really doing it right. You're crushing yourself. You're very mentally strong. Good for you. You can push yourself really hard, but you're not really like helping yourself get any better, stronger, more resilient, any of that. So the whole time as well, they're pricking my finger. Um, they're measuring the lactate in my blood at different stages and different speeds to see how well my body clears lactate. And the better you can clear lactate, it's the longer you can go without like cramping up, and slowing down muscularly, not really energy systems wise, but like clearing lactate is basically like a skill that your body can do and can develop if it practices enough over time. So finish the lactate test, VO2 max, it's all done. And then I come home. They need a few weeks to get the packet together. I had a really wonderful hour-long meeting with a doctor where we broke down my medical health, things I'm concerned about, areas that I might want to see improvement. I had an hour-long conversation with a trainer who basically went over my training history, the things that are important to me when it comes to the gym and my health and my training, and maybe how to put together a better plan for me to get the sorts of outcomes that I want. And I really appreciated her perspective and her kind of sharing as a third party observer of like maybe what I'm not being objectively looking at, or maybe what I'm not objectively looking at accurately in my own training. So really appreciated that. And then we got to the good stuff. So this is the full report, and we're going to go to my results. Strengths and weaknesses. Got a circle here. It's like a blue circle around the outside, and then some maybe worrisome points here in the middle, which I'm assuming are like the yellow points. And then inside, we see here some red points, which I imagine are the concerning points here. If I scroll down a little bit, there's a training zone, there's a race estimation. So this is my LT2 pace. And then my aerobic looks like I'm at risk. My body is on track. My health is at risk. My mobility, stability is on track, and my strength and power is on track. So let's start with checking out my strengths and weaknesses. Let's see what happens here.
Hey Kyle, Coach AJ here. I'm really excited to present to you your first Eternal report. When we initially met for your first consult with Eternal, we spoke about your goals and aspirations and need to be the healthiest and fittest father that you possibly can, to be present for your family with the long years you have ahead of you.
So let's read here. Your VO2 max of 63.3 ranks among superior range for age and sex, a strong signal that the cardiovascular system has capacity to support energy, recovery, and overall resilience when aerobic work is prioritized. Power output. Peak scores in the counter movement jump, 99th percentile, and push up, 94th percentile, show high neuromuscular efficiency and the ability to generate force quickly without relying on high volume training. Lower body strength. Despite joint limitations, your belt squat strength, 97th percentile, shows that your legs still produce serious force. This capacity is a major asset for refining mechanics and maintaining confidence in movement as your hips and spine evolve. Lean muscle mass. You have higher levels of lean muscle mass, which supports your goal of maintaining physical strength without stressing compromised joints. The kind of tissue quality also helps with metabolic health and physical confidence. There we go. I like that. Let's go over the weaknesses. My lactate profile. Elevated lactate at all stages of the test suggests reduced metabolic flexibility and lactate clearance, making it harder to recover from effort or feel efficient during sustained movement. Building this back up would support smoother training and more consistent energy. I very much agree with this. I suffer from serious cramping when I go too hard, which is probably an effect of not clearing lactate very well. Hip strength ratio, there's an imbalance between abduction and adduction, especially on the right, may contribute to back flare-ups and joint stress and likely undermine your efforts to train with a clean, pain-free movement. Cardiovascular risk disease, my cholesterol biomarkers, and ApoB, they were all elevated, pointing to some moderate cardiovascular risk. So I need to stay on top of my cholesterol. Hormonal balance, your current testosterone dosing appears to be super physiologic. So my DHEAS markedly low and my gonadotrophin's fully suppressed. While this is being managed externally, it introduces real risks over time, including reduced fertility, altered mood or energy regulation, downstream endocrine disruptions, with your goals shifting towards sustainability and clarity rather than performance. It's worth discussing whether your current approach still serves your long-term game. So this is referring to my TRT protocol. So I take exogenous testosterone, which I have since this test reduced the amount almost 50%. So I have not retested, but hopefully I'm not super physiologic anymore. And I continue to try to reduce the amount of exogenous testosterone that I take. So I'm taking less and less. Let's get into my training zones. So what's really cool about this app is they then give you an idea of my sort of like peak pace, my VO2 max pace, which is like a 719 mile, where my heart rate was at a 186. So that's kind of like me running at my fastest. And then my aerobic threshold, so like a 950, that's kind of the limit of where I can run aerobically, where I'm primarily using the energy sources of my um, breathing and oxygen to fuel me and fuel my effort of running. So I should be able to run about a 950 pace, kind of at the top limit. And then anaerobic threshold at about a 10:08 pace. So if I'm doing like a marathon, a really long run, I should, based on my metrics here, I should be between like a 950 pace and a 10:08 pace. And then it gives me, zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5, which I'm sure you've heard. And, like my zone 1 is like a 18:05, 14:04, which is a fast walk per mile. Zone 2, which, you hear a lot, you want to get a lot of zone 2 cardio. My zone 2 is like a 14-minute pace to 11-minute pace. That is a very, very, very slow jog. My zone 3, that's where I'm like 10:28 pace to 11:08 pace. Zone 4, 9:56 to a 10:27. Zone 5, I'm in like a 8.5-minute mile pace. So, given all this, like I should be able to like make some really good improvements in my running if I just spend some more time on it. Going back, we're gonna pull up my body and body composition. Then we've got a lot of stuff: demographics, bone density, body comp raw data. Let's see. My fat mass to height, my lean height. These are a lot of numbers. Here we go. My total body fat percentage is 18.3%. So maybe higher than I would have thought, but also, this could be like a new DEXA scan. It may not be fully calibrated. I think there's something valuable here to take away, specifically about body fat testing, DEXA scans, the body fat test on scales. Look, ultimately, it's a number, and you don't walk around with like a number tattooed on your forehead of what your body fat percentage is. The best measure of your body composition, whether you're happy with it, is what you see in the mirror. And whether my body fat percentage is 6% or 18%, it really doesn't matter if I'm happy with what I see in the mirror. So ultimately, I just go off of what I see, how I feel when I take a look at my body and my body composition. I use that to measure my efforts, what and where I put my effort toward, whether I focus on improving my nutrition some, improve my training some, or training frequency. But I don't let the number really affect me at all. There's a lot of things that can affect that number. And honestly, none of them are written on you anywhere. So, they shouldn't make a huge difference in your body comp. Bone density, I don't know. This seems good. Everything seems like it's on track. Health, yeah, health is all on track. Inflammation, fine. Iron function, kidney health, liver health. Said I had a few elevated enzymes, very common amongst active individuals like mine with a heavy training load, so it's not really a particular concern. Metabolism, all seem very good. Nutrition, good. Prostate health, good. Urinary markers, good. In conclusion of, all this incredible testing and this quite honestly remarkably impressive company, is this very much depends on the individual. For people that really get a lot of motivation about having clear numbers to chase and clear measurement goals and working toward those measurement goals and identifying where they might be able to make the biggest progress, this is a huge deal. For people that are much more in tune with like how they feel, with what they see, and are much more intuitive, it might not be a huge driver of change for them. Might be like very curious and good information to know, but not necessarily like required or might not move the needle too much for someone like myself that is very much like a feel type person. If you're the type of person that gets a lot of motivation from kind of identifying and knowing where you have the biggest weak links or where you have the biggest opportunities for improvement, I highly recommend Eternal. They're a fantastic company. They're going to give you all the information that you could imagine plus some. Give you very clear targets. They're going to measure you frequently. You're going to have experts in all areas of your health and fitness. And if you have enjoyed this video, if you like this type of stuff, I highly recommend this video here where I sit down with my functional health doctor and we go over what functional health is, how we apply it, how it's available to our members at the fort, and how to best use it to give you a happier, better, and more fulfilled life. So if you're interested in that, I will see you there.